Difficulties in life are not there to stop you. They are there to make you stronger. The question is, will you rise or will you run? Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced challenges, setbacks, and moments that tested their limits. But the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not luck, talent, or intelligence. It's how they handle difficulty. Life will not get easier. Problems will not disappear. But you can become stronger, sharper, and more resilient. Right now, you might be dealing with something that feels overwhelming. Maybe it's a personal struggle, financial stress, or a goal that seems impossible to reach. It's easy to feel discouraged, to doubt yourself, to wonder if you have what it takes. But here's the truth: what you do in these moments determines everything. Your mindset, your response, your willingness to push forward despite the obstacles, that is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a new way to look at challenges. You're going to learn how to handle difficulty in a way that strengthens you instead of breaking you. You're going to see why most people fail to overcome obstacles and how you can rise above. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or unsure of how to move forward, then this is for you. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change the way you approach life forever. Number one, life won't get easier, but you can get stronger. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't slow down, it doesn't pause, and it doesn't get easier just because you want it to. Some people sit around hoping that someday things will finally fall into place, that struggles will fade, that life will somehow become smooth and effortless. But that's not reality. The truth is, life won't get easier. You have to get stronger. And the moment you truly understand this, the way you approach every challenge will change forever. Most people don't want to hear this. They want a shortcut. They want a secret formula to escape the hard times. But let's be real. There is no shortcut, and there is no escape. You either grow or you stay the same. And staying the same means life will always feel hard because you never develop the strength to handle it. It's like trying to lift the same weight every day and wondering why it never gets lighter. The weight doesn't change. You have to change. You have to build the strength to handle more, to take on more, to become more. Think about everything you've been through in life. Every struggle, every setback, every moment that tested you. At the time, it felt like too much. It felt unfair. It felt like something you just wanted to get past. But looking back, you can see that those moments built something inside you. They made you tougher. They forced you to grow. If you had never gone through those challenges, you wouldn't be who you are today. And that's proof that you don't need an easier life. You just need to keep getting stronger. But here's the problem. Most people let challenges break them instead of build them. They complain, they blame, they make excuses. They focus on how unfair life is instead of focusing on how they can adapt and grow. They let difficulty define them instead of using it to refine them. And because of that, they stay stuck. They live the same problems over and over again, never realizing that they have the power to change their approach. They wait for life to stop being difficult, not realizing that life is waiting for them to become stronger. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't that life is easier for one group. It's that the successful ones made a decision. They decided that no matter what happens, they will not be defeated. They will not quit. They will not let obstacles steal their future. They accept that life is hard, and instead of wasting time wishing it were easier, they focus on becoming the type of person who can handle it. So how do you do that? How do you actually get stronger when life feels overwhelming? First, stop waiting for things to get easier. The moment you stop resisting reality and start working with it, you take back your power. When you accept that difficulty is part of the process, you stop wasting energy complaining, and you start putting that energy into growth. Next, control what you can control. So many people waste time stressing over things they can't change. They focus on the past, on what other people are doing, on circumstances outside their control. But the truth is, your power comes from focusing on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. You may not control the storm, but you can control how you navigate through it. And that's all that matters. Another thing, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop telling yourself you'll take action when things settle down, when life is less stressful, when you feel ready. The people who win in life don't wait for the right moment. They start where they are with what they have, and they figure it out along the way. Strength isn't something you wait for, it's something you build by taking action, even when it's uncomfortable. And here's something you have to understand. Your emotions will try to hold you back. When life gets tough, your mind will want to panic. It will tell you to quit, to take the easy way out, to avoid the challenge. But that's when you have to step in and take control. You can't let emotions dictate your actions. You have to decide that no matter how you feel, you will keep going. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going well, but real strength is built when you keep pushing, even when you don't feel like it. Think about the last time you pushed through something difficult. Maybe it was a time when you wanted to quit, but you kept going. Maybe it was a situation that tested you, but you made it through. How did you feel after? You felt stronger. You felt proud. That's because every challenge you overcome builds confidence. It proves to you that you are capable of handling more than you think. And the more you push through, the more unstoppable you become. So the next time life gets hard, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "How can I grow from this? What is this teaching me? How can I come out of this stronger than before?" That small shift in mindset changes everything. It turns challenges into opportunities. It takes you from feeling like a victim to realizing you have control over your growth. Life will never stop testing you. There will always be struggles. There will always be obstacles. There will always be moments that make you want to quit. But if you train yourself to focus on growth instead of escape, you will rise above every challenge. You will become the kind of person who doesn't just survive difficulty. You thrive in it. And when you do that, nothing can stop you. Number 2. Your mind is either your weapon or your prison. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst prison. Every single day you wake up with a choice. Are you going to use your mind to push yourself forward, or are you going to let it hold you back? Most people don't realize that their entire life is shaped by how they think. Their success, their happiness, their ability to handle difficulties. It all comes down to one thing: what's happening inside their head. And if you don't take control of your mind, life will feel like an endless battle that you're always losing. But if you learn how to use your mind the right way, there is no challenge too big, no obstacle too heavy, no situation too difficult that you can't overcome. The problem is, most people don't control their thoughts. Their thoughts control them. They wake up feeling stressed, anxious, unmotivated. And instead of questioning those thoughts, they just accept them as the truth. They say, "I'm just not good enough. Life is too hard. I'll never succeed." And they believe it. And because they believe it, they live it. But let me tell you something. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. Just because you feel like giving up doesn't mean you have to. Just because life feels overwhelming doesn't mean you're not capable of handling it. Your mind is powerful. It will either work for you or against you. If you fill it with fear, doubt, and negativity, it will paralyze you. It will make everything seem harder than it really is. It will convince you that success is impossible, that you're not talented enough, that you're not strong enough. And the worst part, you won't even realize that it's your own thoughts keeping you stuck. You'll think it's your circumstances, your past, your situation. But in reality, it's the way you think about those things that determines whether you move forward or stay where you are. But here's the good news. You can change it. You can train your mind to work for you instead of against you. And when you do that, everything in your life changes. You start seeing problems as challenges instead of dead ends. You stop letting fear make decisions for you. You stop wasting time doubting yourself and start taking action. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. The first step is awareness. You have to start paying attention to the thoughts that run through your head. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't do this," stop and ask yourself, is that really true? Or is it just a thought I've repeated so many times that I believe it? Most of the time, the things holding you back aren't even real. They're just old beliefs, old fears, old doubts that have been sitting in your mind for so long that you've accepted them as facts. But facts and thoughts are not the same thing. And the moment you start challenging those negative thoughts, you weaken their power over you. The next step is replacing the negativity
with something stronger. It's not enough to just say, I don't want to think negatively anymore. You have to actively train your mind to focus on the right things. When fear creeps in, replace it with confidence. When doubt tries to stop you, replace it with determination. When you start thinking about all the ways something could go wrong, force yourself to think about all the ways it could go right. This isn't just some motivational advice. It's real. Your mind will believe whatever you tell it. If you constantly feed it negativity, you'll live in fear. If you feed it strength, you'll live in power. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Your environment plays a massive role in the way you think. If you're constantly around negative people, if you're always watching the news, if you're filling your mind with distractions and garbage, don't be surprised when you feel drained, unmotivated, and stuck. You have to protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Surround yourself with people who push you forward. Listen to things that inspire you. Read things that expand your mind. The more you control what goes into your mind, the more control you have over what comes out of it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel motivated to change their thoughts. They think, I'll start thinking more positively when my life gets better, or I'll start believing in myself once I see some success. That's backward. You don't wait for success to believe in yourself. You believe in yourself first, and then success follows. You don't wait for motivation to take action. You take action, and then motivation grows. The way you think creates your reality, not the other way around. Look at the most successful, mentally strong people in the world. Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did, but they refused to let those doubts control them. They had fears, but they took action anyway. They faced difficulties, but they chose to focus on solutions instead of problems. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who don't. It's not that successful people have it easier. It's that they learned how to control their minds, instead of letting their minds control them. And the best part, you can do the same. It doesn't matter where you come from, what struggles you've been through, or how many times you've failed before. The only thing that matters is what you decide to do right now. You have the power to shift your mindset at any moment. You can choose to stop feeding your fears and start feeding your strengths. You can choose to stop being controlled by your emotions and start being led by your decisions. You can choose to take control of your mind and use it as a weapon to push yourself forward, instead of a prison that keeps you stuck. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop letting your mind hold you back. If you want to change your life, start by changing the way you think. Train your mind to work for you. Challenge every negative thought. Replace fear with action. Protect your environment. And most importantly, never forget that you are in control. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst prison. The choice is yours.
Number 3, pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. Pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. That's something most people don't understand. They feel pain and they think that's the end. They go through struggles, setbacks, disappointments, and all they see is suffering. But what they fail to realize is that pain is not the enemy. Pain is not there to destroy you. Pain is there to shape you, to push you, to make you better than you were before. The problem isn't pain itself. The problem is how you see it, how you respond to it, and what you allow it to do to you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid pain. They want comfort. They want ease. They want a smooth path where nothing goes wrong. But let's be honest. When has comfort ever made anyone stronger? When has taking the easy road ever built anyone into a person of real power, real wisdom, real strength? It hasn't. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge. It comes from struggle. It comes from facing the kind of pain that forces you to adapt, to learn, to change, and to rise above what you once thought was impossible. Think back to a time in your life when you went through something really difficult. Maybe it was heartbreak. Maybe it was failure. Maybe it was losing something or someone important to you. At the time, it felt like the end of the world. It felt unbearable. But look at yourself now. You made it through. And not only did you make it through, but if you really think about it, that pain taught you something. It made you stronger. It gave you wisdom. It showed you what you're capable of.
And that's the thing about pain. It's temporary. It feels like it will last forever, but it won't. You will heal. You will move forward. And one day you will look back and realize that the pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. But here's the catch. Pain only makes you stronger if you use it the right way. If you let it defeat you. If you let it make you bitter. If you let it turn you into someone who is afraid to try again, then you've wasted it. And that's what too many people do. They experience pain, and instead of using it as fuel, they let it hold them back. They stop believing in themselves. They stop taking risks. They stop trying because they're too afraid of getting hurt again. But avoiding pain doesn't lead to a better life. It leads to a smaller life. A life filled with regrets, missed opportunities, and what-ifs. You have to make a decision. Will you let pain make you weaker, or will you use it to make yourself stronger? Will you let pain close doors for you, or will you use it to open new ones? Will you let pain define you, or will you let it refine you? That choice is yours, and it's a choice that will determine the direction of your life. One of the biggest lies people believe is that pain means something is wrong. They think if they're struggling, if they're hurting, if things aren't going the way they expected, it must mean they're on the wrong path. But that's not true. Some of the most important moments of growth in your life will come from the hardest times. The pain isn't a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're stepping into something bigger than you were before. Look at anyone who has ever achieved anything great, and you will see someone who has endured pain. Athletes push through exhaustion, injuries, and setbacks to reach their peak. Entrepreneurs fail, lose money, and go through rejection before they finally succeed. Leaders face criticism, doubt, and opposition before they make a real impact. Nobody escapes pain. The only difference is that some people use it to push forward, while others let it hold them back. If you want to grow, you have to get comfortable with pain. You have to understand that every struggle you go through is shaping you into a stronger version of yourself. Every time you push through, you build mental toughness. Every time you refuse to give up, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. That kind of strength doesn't come from easy days. It comes from the moments when you want to quit, but choose to keep going. And here's the thing. You don't just endure pain for the sake of it. You endure it because on the other side of it is something greater. Growth, strength, wisdom, success, confidence, the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and know that no matter what happens, you have what it takes to get through it. That's what pain gives you, if you're willing to face it head on. The next time you're going through something hard, remind yourself that pain is temporary. It won't last forever, but if you use it the right way, the strength, the wisdom, the growth, that will stay with you for a lifetime. The version of you that comes out on the other side will be someone you never imagined you could become. But you have to be willing to go through the fire. You have to be willing to face the challenge. You have to be willing to keep going even when everything inside you is telling you to stop. Growth isn't for everyone. Not everyone is willing to face pain and use it to become stronger. Some people will choose to stay stuck. Some people will choose to let pain defeat them. But if you're listening to this, I have a feeling that's not you. I have a feeling that you're someone who wants more, someone who refuses to settle, someone who is willing to do what it takes to reach their full potential. And if that's the case, then you already know what you need to do. Embrace the pain. Use it. Let it push you, not break you. Let it make you wiser, not weaker. Let it be the thing that turns you into the person you were meant to be. Because in the end, pain is temporary, but the growth it gives you, that lasts forever. Number 4, your mind is the first battle you must win. Your mind is the first battle you must win. Before you conquer anything in life, before you overcome obstacles, before you achieve success, before you change your life, you have to win the battle in your own mind. Because if you lose there, you lose everywhere. Most people don't realize that the real fight isn't against their circumstances, their past, or even their competition. The real fight is inside their own head. It's the doubts, the fears, the excuses, the negative thoughts that keep whispering, "You can't do this. You're not good enough. What if you fail?" And if you don't learn to shut those voices down, if you don't learn to take control of your thoughts, you will always feel stuck. Look around you. Every person you admire, every person who has achieved success, every person who seems strong, disciplined, confident, they all had to fight that battle too. The difference is they won. They didn't let their minds control them. They didn't let fear stop them. They didn't let doubt hold them back. They learned how to take control of their thoughts instead of being controlled by them. And that's exactly what you need to do. Most people don't even realize how much their mind is controlling their life. They wake up feeling tired, and instead of pushing through, they say, I'll just rest today. They face a challenge, and instead of rising to meet it, they say, maybe this isn't for me. They feel afraid, and instead of acting despite the fear, they let it stop them. And every time they do this, they train their mind to be weak. They train their mind to run from difficulty. They train their mind to make excuses. But here's what you need to understand. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it to be strong, it will stay weak. And a weak mind will always find a way to keep you from becoming the person you were meant to be. It will always convince you to take the easy road, to avoid discomfort, to give up when things get hard. But if you train your mind to be strong, if you teach it discipline, if you teach it resilience, if you teach it to push forward, no matter what, there will be nothing in this world that can stop you. The problem is, most people wait until they feel strong. They wait until they feel motivated. But that's not how it works. Strength isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. You build it by pushing yourself, even when you don't feel like it. You build it by controlling your thoughts, instead of letting them control you. You build it by doing the hard things, the uncomfortable things, the things that scare you, because that's the only way to prove to yourself that you are stronger than your mind wants you to believe. Think about how many times your mind has lied to you. How many times has it told you, you can't do this, and then you did it anyway? How many times has it told you, this is too hard, but you kept going, and realized you were capable of more than you thought? How many times has it made you afraid of something, only for you to later realize that fear was nothing but an illusion? This is why you can't trust your mind when it tries to hold you back. It's trying to protect you, but in reality, it's keeping you from growing. And that's why you have to take control. You have to start questioning your own thoughts. Every time you think, I can't do this, challenge it. Ask yourself, is that really true? Or is it just a belief I've accepted without questioning? Every time you feel afraid, remind yourself that fear is not a reason to stop. Fear is a sign that you're about to grow. Every time you feel like quitting, remind yourself that this is the moment where most people give up. And this is the moment where you have a chance to set yourself apart. Winning the battle in your mind means making a decision. A decision that no matter how you feel, no matter what doubts come up, no matter how hard it gets, you are going to keep moving forward. It means deciding that your feelings do not control you, that your fears do not define you, that your past does not determine your future, that no matter what happens, you will not stop. And once you make that decision, everything changes, because once your mind is strong, nothing else can break you. The obstacles that used to stop you will no longer seem impossible. The challenges that used to make you quit will become opportunities to prove your strength. The fears that once held you back will become nothing more than background noise that you've learned to ignore. The truth is, life will always be full of challenges. There will always be difficulties, setbacks, moments where you feel like giving up. But the people who succeed in life aren't the ones who never face struggles. They're the ones who refuse to let those struggles defeat them. They're the ones who train their mind to be stronger than their circumstances. They're the ones who understand that the battle is won in the mind first. Because once you've won there, nothing in the outside world can stop you. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Feelings are temporary. Strength comes from action. Confidence comes from action. Success comes from action. And the only way to take action consistently is to train your mind to be unshakable. This is your time. No more excuses. No more letting fear win. No more letting your mind be your enemy. Make the decision today that you will be in control, that you will win the battle in your mind, that you will do whatever it takes to become the strongest version of yourself. Because once you do that, there is nothing in this world that can hold you back.
Number 5, fear versus power. Which one are you feeding? Fear and power. These two forces control everything in your life. Every choice you make, every opportunity you take or walk away from, every action you either commit to or hesitate on, it all comes down to which one you are feeding, fear or power. One of them is growing stronger inside you every single day, and the one that wins is the one you choose to fuel. Most people don't realize that fear is a choice. They think fear is something that happens to them, something they can't control. But that's not true. Fear is just a thought, and thoughts can be challenged, changed, and replaced. Fear is nothing more than a mental habit, and just like any habit, you either strengthen it or you weaken it based on what you do every day. And the dangerous thing is, most people spend their entire lives strengthening their fear without even realizing it. Every time they back down from a challenge, every time they hesitate instead of taking action, every time they let self-doubt stop them from doing what they know they need to do, they are feeding fear. And the more you feed fear, the more control it has over your life. But here's the other side of it. Just like you can strengthen fear, you can also strengthen power. Just like fear is a mental habit, confidence, courage, and strength are also mental habits. And the same way fear grows every time you let it win, power grows every time you take control. Every time you take action despite the fear, every time you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts, every time you refuse to let hesitation stop you, you are feeding power. And the more you feed power, the more it takes over. The question you have to ask yourself is simple. Which one are you feeding? Which one are you allowing to control your life? Because if you don't make the choice to feed power, fear will take over by default. Fear doesn't need your permission. It just needs your hesitation. It just needs you to sit back and wait for the right moment. It just needs you to listen to the doubts instead of acting anyway. And if you let it, fear will run your life. It will shrink your world. It will keep you playing small, missing opportunities, and living a life that is far below what you are truly capable of. And that's what most people do. They let fear make their decisions for them. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until the fear disappears before they take action. But let's be honest. When has fear ever disappeared on its own? When has hesitation ever gone away by waiting? It doesn't. Fear doesn't disappear by avoiding it. It disappears by confronting it. And the moment you stop feeding it, the moment you stop letting it control you, the moment you start taking action anyway, you start to starve it. And when fear gets weaker, power gets stronger. Think about the times in your life when you did something even though you were afraid. Maybe it was speaking up in a situation where your voice mattered. Maybe it was stepping into an opportunity even though you didn't feel completely ready. Maybe it was pushing through doubt and proving to yourself that you could handle more than you thought. In those moments you felt fear, but you didn't let it win. And what happened afterward? You felt stronger. You felt more confident. You felt more in control. That's the process. That's how power grows. But you have to make it a habit. You can't just do it once and expect fear to disappear forever. You have to practice it. You have to train your mind the same way you train your body. Because the truth is, fear never truly goes away. It's always there, trying to creep back in, trying to regain control. But once you build the habit of feeding power, you stop listening to it. You stop letting it hold you back. You stop waiting for it to disappear. And instead, you learn to move forward with it still there. That's the difference between people who live small lives and people who create extraordinary ones. Most people don't succeed because they think fear is a stop sign. They think it means don't go any further. But successful people, they feel fear too. The difference is, they know fear is just a signal that they're about to grow. They know fear means they're stepping outside their comfort zone. And that's exactly where they need to be. They don't let it stop them. They let it fuel them. You have to train yourself to respond differently to fear. Instead of pulling back, lean into it. Instead of waiting until you feel ready, act now. Instead of believing the thoughts that tell you you can't, challenge them. Ask yourself, what if I can? Because once you start questioning fear instead of obeying it, you take away its power. And the moment you stop feeding fear, everything in your life changes. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop worrying about what could go wrong, and you start focusing on what could go right. You stop living small, and you start stepping into the life you were meant to live. But here's the thing. Nobody can do this for you. Nobody can force you to stop feeding fear and start feeding power. You have to make that choice. You have to decide that from this moment forward, you will not let fear make your decisions for you. That you will not let hesitation be the reason you miss out on opportunities. That you will not let doubt stop you from taking action. Because if you don't make that choice, fear will make it for you.
So ask yourself right now, what are you feeding? When you wake up in the morning, are you feeding fear or power? When you face a challenge, are you strengthening fear or strengthening power? When you have a choice between stepping up or backing down, are you choosing fear or choosing power? Because whatever you choose, that is what will grow. This is your moment. You don't need more time. You don't need more preparation. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You just need to decide. Decide that fear will no longer run your life. Decide that hesitation will no longer steal your opportunities. Decide that from this moment forward, you will feed power. Because once you do that, nothing will ever be the same again. Number 6. Every storm ends but only if you keep moving. Every storm ends but only if you keep moving. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how overwhelming things may feel, no matter how stuck you think you are, nothing lasts forever. The pain, the struggle, the uncertainty, it all passes. But there's one rule: you have to keep going. Because if you stop moving, if you let the storm paralyze you, if you sit down and give up, then the storm wins. And too many people let the storm win. They get hit with a setback, and they stop trying. They get overwhelmed and they shut down. They feel lost, and they assume that's how things will always be. But that's not how life works. Storms only last as long as you keep standing still in them. The moment you push forward, the moment you decide to keep going no matter what, that's the moment you start making it through. Pain has a way of making you feel like it's never going to end. When you're in the middle of a tough season, when life is throwing everything at you, it feels like you're stuck in it forever. Like things will never get better. Like you'll never feel happy again. Never feel confident again. Never feel at peace again. And that's why so many people quit. That's why so many people break under the pressure. Because they start believing that what they're going through is permanent. But it's not, and you need to remind yourself of that every single day. Think about everything you've been through in your life. Think about the moments where you thought, I'll never get past this. The moments where you felt completely lost, completely broken, completely drained. But guess what? You're still here. You made it through. The storm passed. And the only reason you're here today is because you kept going. You might have been crawling. You might have been barely holding on, but you didn't stop. And that's why you made it through. Life is never going to be easy. There will always be challenges. There will always be unexpected setbacks. There will always be moments where you feel like you can't take another step. But you have to train yourself to stop thinking that difficulty means defeat. You have to stop believing that struggle means you're failing. Struggle means you're in the process of growing. Struggle means you are being shaped into something stronger. Struggle means you are becoming someone who can handle more, achieve more, and impact more. Most people don't understand that. They think life is supposed to be smooth, supposed to be comfortable, supposed to be easy. And the moment things get tough, they panic. They start doubting themselves. They start looking for an escape. But the people who succeed, the people who rise above, the people who build an unshakable life, they don't run from the storm. They walk through it. They understand that storms don't last forever, but the strength you build from walking through them does. You have to start looking at your struggles differently. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of feeling like the universe is against you, understand that this moment is shaping you. Instead of focusing on the pain, focus on the person you are becoming because of it. Because if you let it, the storm can be the best thing that ever happened to you. The problem is, most people don't stick around long enough to see that. They give up before they reach the other side. They let temporary pain make them make permanent decisions. But not you. You are not someone who quits. You are not someone who gives up just because things get tough. You are not someone who lets a difficult moment define the rest of your life. You are someone who keeps moving. No matter how slow, no matter how heavy it feels, you keep going. Because you understand that the only way out is through. And when you do that, when you refuse to stop, when you refuse to let the storm break you, something incredible happens. You come out the other side, stronger than ever before. You come out with a new level of confidence, a new level of resilience, a new level of wisdom that only people who have walked through the storm can understand. And the next time life gets hard, because it will, you won't be afraid. You'll know you can handle it, because you've done it before. The secret to getting through anything in life is simple. Don't stop. That's it. No matter how impossible it seems, no matter how hopeless you feel, no matter how long the journey looks, don't stop. Because one day you'll wake up, and the storm will be behind you. And you'll realize that every step you took, every moment you pushed forward, every ounce of effort you gave, was worth it. So right now, if you're in a storm, if you feel like giving up, if you feel like you don't have the strength to keep going, remind yourself of this. Storms don't last forever. Pain is temporary. Fear is temporary. Struggle is temporary.
But the version of you that comes out of this, that's permanent. And that version of you is stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than you can even imagine. But you'll never meet that version of you if you stop now. Keep moving. Even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it feels impossible, keep moving. Because one day soon you're going to look back at this moment and realize it was just another storm. And just like every other storm before it, it passed, and you made it through. Number 7. Tough times test you, but they also build you. Tough times test you, but they also build you. No one ever becomes stronger by having an easy life. No one ever becomes great by staying comfortable. The people who achieve, the people who inspire, the people who make a real impact in this world, they are the ones who have been tested. And the only reason they became who they are today is because they didn't break when life got hard. They didn't run when things got uncomfortable. They didn't quit when it felt like everything was against them. They faced the challenge, they took the pain, and they used it to build something greater within themselves. That's the part most people miss. They think struggle is a punishment. They think if life is hard, something must be wrong. But that's not true. Struggle is the process of transformation. Struggle is life's way of preparing you for the next level. Because nothing valuable ever comes easy. Every single thing that's worth having. Strength, confidence, success, wisdom, resilience. It all comes from going through difficulty and coming out stronger on the other side. The problem is, most people never make it to the other side. They let the struggle break them instead of build them. You have to change how you see tough times. You have to stop looking at them as something to avoid and start seeing them for what they really are. Opportunities to become more. Because every time life gets tough, you have a choice. You can break or you can build. You can complain or you can grow. You can let it defeat you or you can let it develop you. And that choice determines everything. Because no one in this world is immune to hard times. Everyone faces struggles. The difference is some people use them as excuses, while others use them as fuel. Think about the strongest people you know, the people who inspire you, the people you look up to. Do you think their lives were easy? Do you think they got to where they are without challenges, without setbacks, without moments where they wanted to quit? Of course not. In fact, the reason they are strong, the reason they are successful, the reason they are who they are today is because of the struggles they faced. They became stronger because they were tested. And every single one of them had a moment where they had to decide, am I going to let this situation break me, or am I going to use it to become better? That's the moment that defines people. Because no matter how bad things get, you always have that choice. No one can take it from you. No situation, no setback, no failure can take away your ability to choose how you respond. And that's what separates the ones who rise from the ones who stay stuck. It's not about being lucky. It's not about having an easy life. It's about making a decision that no matter what happens, you will not let it break you. You have to start training your mind to think differently. Most people see challenges as something to run from, something to avoid, but successful people, they understand that challenges are what make them stronger. They know that every struggle is a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity. Every difficulty is a test that, if passed, will take them to a new level of strength. And the more you train yourself to think this way, the more unstoppable you become. Because once you stop fearing struggle, once you stop avoiding hard times, once you start seeing them as a necessary part of growth, you take away their power over you. Suddenly nothing can break you. Nothing can stop you. Because you know that no matter what life throws at you,
you will come out stronger on the other side. But you have to make that decision every single day. When things get tough, remind yourself this is not happening to break me. This is happening to build me. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself, I am being prepared for something greater. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself, this struggle is the price of becoming the person I was meant to be. And once you start thinking this way, everything changes. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And the only way to become tough is to go through the process. You can't buy strength. You can't borrow it from someone else. You have to earn it. And the only way to earn it is by walking through the fire, facing the challenges, pushing forward even when everything in you wants to quit. And when you do that, when you refuse to let hard times break you, you come out on the other side as someone who is unshakable, someone who is unstoppable, someone who is built for greatness. But it starts with a decision that no matter how hard things get, you will not give up. A decision that no matter what life throws at you, you will keep moving forward. A decision that no matter how much pain, struggle, or difficulty you face, you will use it to become better, stronger, and wiser. Because once you make that decision, nothing can break you again. So whatever you're going through right now, whatever challenges you're facing, whatever struggles are weighing you down, remind yourself, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something greater. This is the process of becoming the person you were meant to be. And one day you'll look back and realize that every tough time, every hard moment, every painful experience wasn't breaking you. It was building you into the strongest version of yourself. And that version of you, that version is unstoppable. Number 8, stop complaining and start taking control. Stop complaining and start taking control. Life is not going to change just because you're frustrated with it. Your situation is not going to magically get better just because you talk about how unfair it is. Complaining does nothing. Wishing things were different does nothing. Waiting for someone to come and fix your life for you, that does nothing. The only thing that changes your life is action. The only thing that puts you in control is making a decision that you are done sitting around feeling powerless. Because you are not powerless. You have more control than you think, but as long as you're focused on what's wrong, as long as you're focused on what's missing, as long as you're stuck in a cycle of complaining, you will never see the opportunities that are right in front of you. Most people don't realize how much time they waste complaining. They don't see how much energy they give to things that don't move them forward. They complain about their job, but they never try to improve their skills or look for a better one. They complain about their health, but they keep making excuses instead of making changes. They complain about not having enough money, but they don't take the time to learn about finances or find ways to increase their income. And then they wonder why nothing in their life ever changes. It's because they're stuck in a cycle where they focus on what's wrong instead of what they can do about it. You have to break that cycle. You have to stop giving so much energy to the things you don't like and start putting that energy into making a change. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to fix your problems for you. No one is going to live your life for you. It's up to you. And that should excite you. Because that means you are in control. That means you have the power to change your life. But only if you decide to take action. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think they sat around complaining about their circumstances? Do you think they spent their time talking about how unfair life is? No, they took responsibility. They focused on what they could control. They looked for solutions instead of excuses. And that's why they got to where they are. Because instead of complaining about the problem, they focused on finding a way through it. If you want a better life, you have to do the same. You have to shift your mindset from why is this happening to me, to what can I do about it. You have to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start doing what you can with what you have right now. Because no matter what your situation is, there is always something you can do to move forward. There is always an action you can take. But you'll never see it if you're too busy complaining. Most people never get the life they want because they waste too much time focusing on what they don't have, instead of what they can create. They focus on the obstacles instead of the opportunities. They focus on what's missing instead of what's possible. And because of that, they stay stuck. But you don't have to be one of those people. You can choose differently. You can choose to stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the solution. It starts with taking responsibility. It starts with deciding that you are not a victim of your circumstances, that you are not powerless, that you are not stuck. Because the moment you take responsibility for your life, everything changes. Suddenly, you stop waiting for things to get better and start making them better. Suddenly, you stop blaming other people and start focusing on what you can do to improve your situation. Suddenly, you stop making excuses and start taking action. And the more you take action, the more in control you feel. The more you do something about your situation, the more confidence you build. Because confidence doesn't come from wishing things were different. It comes from proving to yourself that you have the power to change your life. And once you experience that, once you see what happens when you stop complaining and start taking control, you will never want to go back to the old version of yourself. So right now, if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling frustrated, if you've been complaining about the same things over and over again, stop. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I do right now to start moving in the direction I want? Because there is always something you can do. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. And once you start taking action, once you start focusing on what you can control, you'll realize that the power was in your hands the whole time. You are not meant to live a life where you feel stuck, powerless, and frustrated. You are meant to live a life where you feel in control, where you know that no matter what happens, you have the ability to figure it out. But that life doesn't come from complaining. It comes from action. It comes from taking responsibility. It comes from deciding that you are done waiting for things to change, and that from this moment forward, you are going to make them change. So from today on, no more complaining. No more wasting time talking about what's wrong. No more waiting for someone to fix your life for you. You are in control. You are capable. You have everything you need to start making a change right now. And when you do, when you stop focusing on what's wrong and start focusing on what's possible, you'll realize that your life is in your hands. And that's the most powerful realization you will ever have.
Number 9, the faster you accept reality, the faster you can change it. The faster you accept reality, the faster you can change it. There is an undeniable power that comes with accepting where you are in life right now. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I know you might want to resist it, to push back and fight against what is. But here's the truth. The moment you accept your reality as it is right now, the moment you stop fighting against it and start working with it, that's when things begin to change. It's in the acceptance that the real power is found. The key to moving forward, to making any kind of meaningful change in your life, is rooted in acceptance. I don't mean that in a passive, give-up way. No, not at all. Acceptance doesn't mean you're settling for where you are. It means you're taking responsibility for where you are. And when you do that, when you acknowledge what's happening right now and stop pretending that things are different than they are, you unlock your ability to act. Because only when you truly accept reality can you take the steps needed to make it better. Too many people waste time pretending. They spend so much energy trying to avoid the truth, trying to act like things are fine when they're not. They want to avoid the hard truth because it's uncomfortable. But here's the catch. The longer you avoid it, the longer you stay stuck. You can't move forward if you refuse to face where you're starting from. It's like trying to get somewhere without knowing where you are. You're never going to get there because you don't have the information you need to start the journey. But once you accept where you are, once you acknowledge the reality of your situation, the next step becomes clear. It's no longer about denial or fantasy. It's about the next move. And that next move is always what will change your life. Think about it. The most successful people, the ones who have truly mastered their lives, are the ones who accept the facts. They don't sugarcoat their situation. They don't live in some kind of illusion. They accept what's happening, even if it's not ideal, and then they move forward with it. They don't wait for things to magically change. They don't sit around hoping the world will align in their favor. They know that change comes when they start working with what is, not when they wish it were different. The moment you accept reality, you release the resistance. Resistance drains energy. Resistance makes you exhausted. And the problem with resistance
is that it keeps you stuck in a loop of frustration. You keep battling with what's real, trying to change it before you've even understood it. But that's not how life works. You have to face what is in order to change what will be. And as soon as you stop resisting, you open yourself up to the power of possibility. You free yourself to see what's truly available to you. This doesn't mean you have to be happy with everything in your life right now. It doesn't mean you have to love every situation you're in. But it does mean you stop pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means you stop wishing things were different and start taking action to make them better. Because the truth is, nothing in your life is going to change until you decide that it's time to change it. But that can only happen when you accept your reality, no matter how imperfect it might be. Acceptance doesn't equal defeat. It doesn't mean you're giving up or settling for less. It means you're starting from where you are, not where you wish you were. And from that point, you can begin the work of creating the life you want. But without that first step, without that moment of acceptance, you're just spinning your wheels. You're stuck in a cycle of inaction because you're too busy wishing for a different reality instead of working with the one you have. The sooner you accept the things you cannot change, the sooner you start focusing on the things you can change. It's like stepping out of a fog into clear sunlight. When you stop focusing on all the things that are out of your control, you give yourself permission to focus on what you can do something about. You can work on improving your skills. You can start changing your habits. You can build a plan and take steps forward. All of those things are within your control. And once you make peace with where you are, you realize just how much power you have to change things. No one can give you this sense of power except yourself. And you will only unlock it when you choose to accept your current situation. Because from that acceptance comes clarity. And from that clarity comes action. The truth is, if you're not accepting your reality, you're probably stuck in a loop of wishing things were different, waiting for some miracle to happen, or blaming others for your circumstances. None of that is going to move you forward. None of that will make a difference. But acceptance is what gives you the freedom to move. It gives you the permission to start building, to start improving, to start living intentionally. Once you accept your reality, you start taking the power back. You stop waiting for things to change for you, and you begin making things happen for yourself. The moment you accept, you no longer look at life as something happening to you. You look at life as something you are actively shaping. That's the difference. That's the shift. It's no longer about being a passive participant in your own life. It's about taking control. So from this point on, start accepting where you are, no matter how tough it feels. Accept your reality, because that's where the transformation begins. When you stop fighting against what is, you free yourself to create what could be. And once you get to that point, you'll look back and realize that the hardest part wasn't accepting the truth. It was waiting to accept it. Because the moment you accept it is the moment everything starts to change. Number 10. Excuses are lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. Excuses are the lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. We all know the feeling. That little voice in the back of your head that tries to convince you that it's okay to wait just a little longer before taking action. It tells you it's too hard, that you'll do it tomorrow, or that you don't have the skills you need yet. It's easy to listen to that voice, isn't it? It's comforting, like a soft cushion that you can lean into when you feel tired or uncertain. But here's the thing. As long as you let that voice control your decisions, you'll stay exactly where you are. And that's not where you want to be. Let me make this clear. Excuses are not just words. They are barriers you put up to avoid discomfort. They are your way of avoiding the hard work, the sweat, and the effort required to achieve your goals. They allow you to stay in your comfort zone, to avoid taking risks, and to delay the moment when you finally push past the limits you've set for yourself. But every time you make an excuse, you're trading your potential for temporary relief. You're choosing comfort over growth. And let me tell you, growth is never comfortable. Look, we all have reasons to avoid doing the hard work. We all face challenges, obstacles, setbacks, and even fears that make it feel easier to quit, to wait, or to give up. But here's the truth. You have to understand. Success is built by those who are willing to face discomfort, who are willing to push through the tough times, even when they don't feel like it. The truth is, the moment you start making excuses is the moment you stop growing. And the longer you keep feeding yourself those excuses, the longer you stay stuck in the same place. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm not ready yet, you're telling yourself that the future is somehow going to be different, that things will magically change. But here's what I can tell you for sure. Nothing changes until you change. Nothing happens until you take action. The excuses that sound so good in the moment, the ones that make you feel justified in not acting, are actually just a form of self-deception. They are tricks your mind plays to keep you safe, to keep you comfortable, and to keep you from stepping outside of what's familiar. But growth doesn't happen inside of comfort. It happens in the spaces where you're willing to step outside of what's easy and push yourself further than you ever thought you could go. You might tell yourself that you don't have the time, or the money, or the connections to get started on your goals. But I can guarantee that those are just excuses. They are the walls you've built around yourself to keep from facing the truth. That if you really wanted it, you'd make it happen. The people who succeed, who reach their goals, who do the things they dream of doing, they don't let excuses stand in their way. They find a way to make it happen. They push past the barriers they encounter, because they know that success isn't just handed to you. It's earned through action. The hardest part of any journey is starting. Once you begin, once you take that first step, the path becomes clearer. You start gaining momentum, and things begin to fall into place. But the excuses keep you stuck, convincing you that tomorrow will be better, that the stars need to align before you can take action. But what if I told you the stars don't need to align? What if you could create your own alignment through consistent effort, through pushing yourself every single day, even when it feels hard? It's easy to justify why you haven't started yet. It's easy to tell yourself that there's no point in trying until things are perfect. But here's the thing. Perfect doesn't exist. The conditions will never be just right. You'll never feel completely ready. And waiting for the perfect moment is just another excuse in disguise. It's like waiting for the perfect wave to surf. You can keep waiting, but if you never get in the water, you'll never learn to ride the wave. So stop waiting. Stop using your excuses as reasons to stay where you are. Start acting now, even if the conditions aren't perfect. And I want you to understand that these excuses don't just affect you. They affect everyone around you. When you make excuses, you're not just holding yourself back. You're holding back the people who are counting on you, the people who are watching you, and the people who could benefit from your success. When you step up and do what you said you would do, when you push past the excuses and take action, you inspire others to do the same. But when you don't, you teach them that it's okay to make excuses, that it's okay to wait for the perfect moment, and that success is something that only happens to other people. And that's the last thing you want to teach anyone. We live in a world that is full of distractions, full of temptations to make excuses and put things off until tomorrow. But the only way to break free from this cycle is to stop letting excuses control you. You have to get to the point where you realize that every excuse you make is a choice. It's a choice to stay where you are, to avoid the discomfort of growth, and to settle for less than you're capable of achieving. But you're better than that. You are capable of more than you realize. You have within you the power to create the life you want, to reach your goals, and to do things you never thought possible. But that only happens when you stop making excuses and start taking action. So ask yourself, what's more important to you? The comfort of staying where you are, or the potential for growth and success that comes from stepping up and taking action? The choice is yours. The longer you wait, the longer you let those excuses control your life, the longer it will take for you to achieve anything meaningful. But the moment you decide to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility for your actions, that's the moment everything starts to change. I promise you, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the excuses you keep telling yourself. It's time to stop hiding behind them. It's time to break free from the lies you tell yourself. And it's time to start living the life you were meant to live. You can do this. You just have to decide to stop making excuses and start making progress. The power is in your hands. Now it's time to use it.